Hi there, it's Elle. It is Shabbat, Saturday. I'm tired. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just go on and chat for a few minutes. I know I came on and chatted yesterday to no avail. There was like maybe one person that chatted with me in the room. That seems to be how it's been on here on YouTube lately, is just very few people want to chat anymore for whatever reasons. We all know that. And it is what it is. But I'm going to just share my thoughts a little bit about concerts in general that I have noticed that maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know. I still got my little sloth book that I told y'all I would read. And I plan on reading a little bit from that today. It is the Slow Method for a More Slothful Life. I'm going to read that. I'm going to wait till a few more people get in here. If anybody does, I'll give it like 5 minutes for people to file in, whatever. People probably don't even know that I'm live because YouTube is not notorious for sending alerts out anymore to let people know you're here. So yeah, there is that. Regarding concerts, okay. I got to be careful how I say this. Excuse me. Because I don't ever want somebody that blesses me with a concert ticket or some sort of event happening to feel like I'm downplaying it or ungrateful, because I'm not in the least. I'm just observant. And one thing I think life in general has done to me is disillusioned me about a lot of things. So I'm thinking about last night, and I'm never going to take away from the fact that it was an awesome concert and it was so much fun. And I loved being there with Carol. We had a blast. So keep that in mind when I say what I'm about to say. So Grandma Ducky posted a concert link, which I'm going to show you in just a minute, a little bit of that. And I'm going to tell you what I mean about disillusioned, why I feel disillusioned with concerts and a lot of things in life. Because what I have noticed is that while I'm sitting here watching this, there's a few things I want to point out. Okay, I'm going to start it over from the beginning. If I can, if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. So I won't play the whole thing, but I'm going to talk about it in between, kind of a commentary on the concert. Because this is very similar, and this is what I'm talking about, to what I saw last night. And I do love Air Supply. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. But there is something I noticed here, and there's something I noticed about the Toby Mac concert. And it's probably pretty obvious, actually, what I'm about to tell you.
I'm lying alone with my head on the phone, thinking of you till it hurts. I know you hurt too, but what else can we do? Jump into that.
Okay, before I continue on with this, I'm going to let you listen. Keep in mind these guys are like in their 70s, which that alone should be impressive to you, that they still have voices in their 70s. I'm only in my 50s, and I feel like I don't have as much voice power as I had when I was 20 and 30 years old. So this amazed me because I've never heard anybody that old sing that well, other than my father.
I wish I could carry your smile in my heart. The times when my life seems so low, it would make me believe what tomorrow could bring, when today doesn't really know, I'm all out of love, I'm so lost without you. I know you knew right, believing for so long. I'm all out of love, what am I without you? I can't be too late to say that I was so wrong.
Okay, this is what I want to point out to you. First of all, I'm glad I kind of did some research while they were singing, because I would have really been thrown by the way they were singing the songs. apparently, I don't know if all of them got COVID, but several of them had COVID. And one thing I can tell you about COVID is it chokes you and it doesn't go away after COVID goes away. Even now, like talking to you, I'm short of breath. And that's one thing I noticed about Graham Hitchcock, which is the guy that's singing right now, I believe. I think that's Graham Hitchcock, is that he was really struggling when he was singing. Now, it could be that he was old. It could be that it was COVID. But if you notice, it doesn't flow like it does like on their record albums or maybe their earlier concerts. And that's kind of disillusioning to me. Not disappointing, disillusioning, like, wow, this is like very, very different than I remembered them. I loved it. They were still very talented, but they definitely had pauses in there that they don't have on their record albums or their earlier concerts. So yeah, that was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's different. He seems to be struggling almost to get the breath out to sing. And I can relate because that's how it is for me singing. I can't just, or even talking, I can't just speak anymore without feeling like I'm catching my breath, you know? So I noticed that like right away. I don't know if Carol noticed any of this, but I was more into them than Carol probably ever was because this was my era. Okay, I want you to notice something else. Did you see how he did that little hippity hoppity over to Russell Graham? He did a lot of that last night, and that made the concert so fun. Where he was just like hopping around, and he was doing this thing with his arms, where he was like telling everybody to sing and calling people, I guess, up to the stage, which I couldn't see. I was way the heck in the back, so I didn't see a lot of his antics. But like when he comes out, he does this thing where he's like holding his hands up like that. I'm like, is he praising the Lord or something? I mean, it was kind of weird. I have not been to many concerts. Maybe 10 concerts, and most of those were like Christian groups and things like that. So everything I saw last night was a bit shocking to me, other than I had seen Toby Mac, which again was a Christian concert. It was just very different than what I was expecting, and it always is when I go to concerts. Plus, I'm comparing in my mind what I'm hearing in a concert to all the albums that I listen to, you know, the record albums, the 33s. Oh, gotcha, Mark. Yeah, before your time. Mark says this was before his time. He was a little kid. Well, okay, I was born in 66, so I wasn't exactly an older person, but I listened to them for years and years, you know, from that point onward. So I know a lot about, you know, how their music sounds and stuff. I don't know a lot about them personally. I didn't do like background studies on them. I just know their music, some of it. And they sang songs last night I had never heard, and they were wonderful songs, but I had never heard them because I didn't follow every single thing they did. I wasn't what you would call a groupie of any band. I would just kind of sit in my room and listen to the 33 RPM record albums, and this was one of them. It was their Air Supply with the big hot air balloon and a blue background. That was like my favorite Air Supply that I always listened to.
You say if I called on you now and say that I can't hold on.
Love the harmonies.
There's no easy way. It gets harder each day. Please let me I'll be gone. I'll be gone. Come on, let's go. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right. So long, I'm all out of love. Whatever without you, I can't be too late to say that I was so wrong.
Okay, he did that last night too, where he was like going like this, pointing over here, and hey, get them over there or something. That threw me. I still, even watching that, it seems odd to me. I've never seen that in a concert. I don't know what that means. Was he trying to tell them to put the camera over here to look at these people? Or was he like saying this is what the song means and that's what I'm emphasizing with my hands? I'm not sure. I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, as you know, in most ways, and I'm very eccentric. So my brain doesn't work like everybody else's brains. Half of the people probably weren't even paying attention to his hand motions. But that's what I noticed more than anything was all this thing he was doing. It was crazy. It was interesting. It was fun. It made it fun. One thing I did notice a lot about is his name Russell Hitchcock or Graham Hitchcock? I can't remember. I think it's Russell Hitchcock. Anyways, one thing I noticed about him was he really engaged the audience. Well, they both kind of did. But it's almost seemed like he was giving the silent message of, if it wasn't for you guys watching us, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be a band. We wouldn't have made it this far. We wouldn't be popular all the years we were. That was kind of the subtle hidden message he gave. And I thought I really appreciated that. It made me feel like, wow, I'm glad I, helped give you that popularity. I'm glad I spent the hours in my bedroom listening to your albums and buying I didn't even buy like t-shirts. That wasn't a thing that I remember back then. Not so much as it is now. But I just felt like I had a part of them by being there. And even at some point in the concert, I think it was Russell Graham or Graham Russell or the taller one. We'll just call him Tall and Small because I always get their names mixed up. I always have. The tall one said he did a poem and stuff, and it was something about it's not so much about just us, but it's you. Yeah, it was in his poem. He writes beautiful poetry, very meaningful and deep poetry. And that just really, I think, touched a lot of people because they felt like, well, hey, we had a part in this. We're like a big family and you're part of us and we're part of you. And that was beautiful how they created that oneness in their concert. I've never seen that before in any of the concerts I've been at. So that was pretty cool, I have to say. Considering this was a secular concert, for me to be impressed with it, it would take a lot. You guys know me and you know my standards and my morals and stuff. And it takes a lot to impress me or even get into my ear space. There he goes again. Get that breath in there. Hopping across the stage again. Okay, I'm sitting here going, I hope to God that was his wife. I'm not saying you can't kiss somebody else's hand, but that just would have been utterly weird if that was some chick in the audience, to me anyway. I mean, I get it. They're a rock band. They have to be, friendly with all their band people and their, audience. But that just would strike me weird if he was like being all gushy like that with some random stranger. I guess they do that at concerts. As I said, I haven't been to many, so haven't really seen a lot of stuff. This is all kind of shocking to me and amazing.
Just without you.
So there were like these long pauses in between last night where they would have us sing and then they would just stop everything. And then they would start it up again and then they would conclude it. And I guess concerts are just really different than the actual albums to me. And it's all surprising. See, they started it up again. He's like 72 years old. Yeah, just amazing how he hit those notes and stuff. 72 years old. Blew my mind. Anyway, yeah, it just I don't know. I don't know how to explain how it made me feel. I was so excited to be there. I'm still excited about it. I'm still like flying high from last night for sure. But when you're up close and personal and you start noticing all the little, in between things and whatever, it makes you realize that these are just human beings. They're just human beings like we are. And yeah, they're talented. They have their people that go with them on tour and whatever. They have their special effects. But when it comes down to the end of the day, they're just people. They're flesh and blood and skin and bones and skeletons and just people. So, yeah, I'm just bringing it down to earth in my own mind going, yeah, that was an awesome concert. It was, but it so reminds me of just how human everybody is and that nobody is really any different than another person or any better, meaning you don't have any more worth to God than another person does as a person. Now, you do things that God is not pleased with at times, but all in all, he created us all, and we all have our gifts and talents and everything, and they definitely proved talent last night. I just was so amazed, and so I'm just rambling about everything that I feel and thought and all the emotions I had, and yeah, it was pretty incredible. The casino when you walk in, because it was that yeah, in some ways, yeah, I guess, Mark, I see what you're saying. The casino was like a casino, but when you walk in, you smell this amazing aroma. It was like vanilla or something. So beautiful. And it reminded me of Disney World because they actually have like aromas in the air that they put through these little, I don't know what they're called, little vents, I guess. So as you're walking through Disney World, you're smelling different aromas in the air. And it's not because they have like a candy thing that they're making candy in. It's literally pumped in through vents. So it kind of reminded me of that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it was incredible. But I'm watching that concert that Grandma Ducky sent me, and it was like almost a carbon copy, almost exactly the same. And it kind of reminds you again how human you are, that you're not any better than somebody else that went to that concert. Oh, interesting, Mark. I did not know that. I don't gamble and I don't go to casinos. I did go to a casino for my honeymoon in my second marriage. Somebody paid for me to do that. It wasn't a gamble. We didn't go there and gamble. We ate dinner and went up to our hotel room, basically. But I didn't know that about the fixed air thing. But that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. It was beautiful smelling, though. Haven't smelled anything like that in a long time. But yeah, anyway, comparing my concert last night that I went to the concert Grandma Ducky just showed me. First of all, thank you, Grandma Ducky, because I actually got to see what they looked like up close and personal, because where I was sitting, I couldn't see anything. I really couldn't. It was kind of blurry. I could kind of see them, but I couldn't see like facial features and defined lines. And like I like to with people, I like to know people as the full person. So that was cool being able to watch that up close on my computer and say, oh, well, that's what they look like. But yeah, the concert was very, very similar to what I just showed you. You didn't miss anything as far as that's it. That's what it was. That's what it looked like. That's what it was like. And it was fun. It was so much fun. And it was such a good blessing of a Mother's Day gift. I really was not expecting that. I'm still blown away by it because it's like Carol had to keep that a secret for a long time. I'm surprised she could do it. There were so many times she wanted to tell me, and I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised. So even like while we're driving there, she's like, Mom, when do you want me to tell you? I'm like, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I want to be surprised. So, yeah, what you saw in that video of me being surprised, that was legit. First of all, I couldn't hardly see the words on the ticket because I had been looking at phone numbers all day. And all I saw was casino. And my first reaction was, oh, casino. I don't do that, gambling thing. And, but then I noticed when I looked, my eyes focused and I saw air supply. It took me back in my mind to childhood. Like, what, air supply? Like, I pictured the balloon and the black. This all happened in a matter of moments. The blue background and the hot air balloon and the air supply on the album. And then it dawned on me, oh my God, they're like actually here, like in person, the actual people. And not that I idolize people, I don't, but it just was very, I don't know. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and yet so disillusioning when you see people up close and personal. I can compare this to when my husband saw WWE in person, and he actually saw the people that were the wrestlers and how they looked in real life and how shocked he was. It's just like, they're just humans. And you realize that when you go to these things, that those are human beings. I think in a way, in my childhood, I had a sense of kind of this fantastical fantasy world that I lived in. And, oh man, these people are dreamy, and, oh, the music is perfect. There's not a note out of place. There's no breaths in there. And then you go and watch them in concert and they're like, say I was so wrong. It's like, why are they taking a breath in between? They don't do that on the album. But they're human. That's why. And they had COVID. At least one of them did, or several of them. But it's just like, wow. Kind of like me seeing Dr. Phil in person. Well, not in person, but on that behind the scenes group I used to belong to, and seeing how they got the audience all hepped up before he even got out there. So by the time he walked out there, everybody was like, woo! That's because we were all joking and goofing around and playing games before he even got out on the stage or the platform or whatever you call the thing, the studio set. It's all, I guess as I'm getting older, I'm realizing how much life is really but a vapor. It's all literally just a vapor. All these things we want, all these things we think we need, they can fade like that, just literally so quickly. Doesn't mean you shouldn't like nice things or that you shouldn't strive for beauty in life and success. I'm just saying you need to come down to earth and be realistic and realize it is what it is. And you can lose it just as quick as you got it, and not put so much worth in that as you do in like relationships and, stuff like that. That's not going to fade away and be so elusive in a sense. On that note, let's read Follow the Slow Method for a More Slothful Life. This kind of goes right along with what I'm saying about the reality of life. And I know there's not many people here. Maybe people will come on later and watch this and go, okay, Laura's gone off the deep end again, and she's just rambling about some concert and how it's so surreal and blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's me. That's what I do. That's how I am. So follow the slow method for a more slothful life. The mantra of the sloth philosophy is slow down. To help ease yourself into this world, try following the slow method outlined here. These 4 simple tips will help you become the best, most slothful version of yourself. These are really good tips, too. I was sharing these with Amber this morning. S stands for, these are acronyms, by the way, sleep in. The world has a bizarre obsession with policing the amount of sleep we all get. On the one hand, we're being told how important it is, but on the other, being sleep deprived is sometimes even seen as a badge of honor. Oh, she runs her own company and only needs 4 hours of sleep a night? Let's give her an award that she's too exhausted to enjoy. But what if you sleep for, say, 12 hours? It's too much. You'll get some sort of laziness disease. Why fetishize sleeping in? Just do it. Sleep is good for you. Dreaming is good for you. It's great for your skin and your immune system, and your emails can wait another hour or two while you pay homage to the duvet gods. L, leave your phone at home. This may seem obvious, but the idea of leaving your phone at home may also give you an anxiety attack. How will you find your way to the nearest Starbucks without your GPS? Trust me, you'll find one. We're all too plugged in. Too much screen time is ruining our brains and expanding our waistlines. Not looking at your phone every 4 minutes is better for you, but it's also really hard to do. So try leaving your phone at home, and the next time you pop out to the shops or run across the street for a flat white. I don't know what a flat white is. If anybody knows what a flat white is, leave a comment down below, because I don't know what that means. See how it feels to be without your pocket technology for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and over a period of days or weeks, work your way up to a couple of hours. The notifications can wait till you get back. And for those few minutes or hours, take a deep breath and enjoy not being 100% available and on call to the entire universe. If you can't bear to leave your phone at home, try putting it on flight mode. You know, like you're supposed to do on airplanes before they take off so your Wi-Fi doesn't bring down the plane. Oh, opt out. I'm only reading a few of these things. There's just 2 more, so hang in with me if you want. Embracing the way of the sloth requires an attitude adjustment. Make a choice to opt out of the idea that you need to be busy, engaged, connected, and productive at all times. It's just fine to be unproductive every so often. In fact, the sloth philosophy believes it is essential to good mental health. Opting out on a practical level simply means doing less of the things you don't want to do. Life comes with a lot of obligations, sure, and some of them are necessary for your own well-being or that of your loved ones. This includes things like feeding the cat or paying your rent. But we also commit to a lot of things we don't necessarily want or need to do. Part of slowing down and embracing the sloth philosophy is realizing you don't have to do everything or be all things to everyone. Being busy isn't a badge of honor if you're miserable. Good point. Very last one, W. And then we're going to have a little open chat here so you guys can talk if you want, or I'll head off if you don't want. So what's the rush? That's what W stands for. What's the rush? Repeat this phrase when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed out. Ask yourself whether something really needs doing immediately. Are you ignoring your own needs in order to do it? If you're about to take a rejuvenating walk in the spring sunshine, but get a text message from your accountant asking about a missing file, which causes you to check your email, where you see a note from a friend asking about your plans for visiting the countryside tomorrow, which you start to reply to, but first you need to research that art gallery you heard about so you can include the link in your reply, and then it's an hour later and somehow you've bought 4 pair of shoes from ASOS. Also, that reminds you that before your trip, you need to wash your sneakers, throw out the rotten fridge lettuce, and call the school. You need to rethink your priorities. Take a step back. Try and put any feelings of urgency into perspective. Remember our collective past when our grandparents sent paper letters to their friends and family via boats. Catching up with each other took weeks, and they all survived. Take a breath. Vow to do it later or tomorrow, if at all. Will anyone or anything suffer if you take that walk first? So there you go. For me, leaving my cell phone behind, yeah, that was a problem. I did try that. That was not enjoyable. I did not like it, and I shan't do it anytime soon again. I didn't like it at all. As far as sleeping in, lately I have been at work from 8 and worked until 3 and sometimes 4. So there was no sleeping in late unless you consider like 6 or 7 o'clock late. My body doesn't let me do that. My mind doesn't let me do that. As soon as 6 or 7 hits, I'm up and moving. So yeah, there is none of that. As far as opting out of things, I'm good at that. And rushing, yeah, I don't know if I rush so much, but I'm definitely busy all the time. I love to do. And I could slow down and I could take some more time to, as they say, stop and smell the roses. So this book is good for me too. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight into anything. All right. So does anybody want to chat about anything? I will give it a minute. And if not, I will head off of here. My throat's kind of sore from screaming last night anyway. Yes, I did yell at the concert. I yelled a little bit lower pitched than Carol. Carol was like, ear-shattering pitch. And then the lady that was sitting in front of us got up and moved to the back. I think she was drinking, and she was having a good old time. And she was screaming at the top of her lungs as loud as she possibly could. And her husband was not enjoying it. And he came and sat next to me like a seat away. And I leaned over and I said, "Is that your wife or your daughter?" He goes, "No, it's my wife." And we were just kind of joking about how my daughter Carol was screaming and this lady was screaming, and we were getting like surround sound screams in our ears. It was quite humorous. So then his wife finally starts going up front to take pictures, and he's like, uh-oh, nothing bad happened, but I guess he's used to her acting like that. It was fun. Anyhow, how about you guys? What's going on with you? Who wants to talk? Anybody want to talk? I'll be quiet so you can. And I'm actually going to set a timer for a minute so that I will know when a minute is up and I can head off of here and go do something else. Probably eat something. It's most likely what I'm going to end up doing. Thanks for that information, though, Mark. I did not know that about casinos. So there is my little timer. When the minute is done, I will head off, assuming that nobody really wants to chat today, and respecting your space and your time and your day off to do as you choose, as I will as well. I don't know all of what I have planned today. It's a day of rest. It's Shabbat, so I don't really have anything planned, to be honest with you. I got a little bit of a headache from the screaming last night and just from me screaming myself. So I might take some ibuprofen and just chill the rest of the day, get some tea and just sit and maybe watch some Johnny Depp and Amber Heard reruns. I don't know. All right, so it looks like nobody really wants to talk. We are actually, the timer has timed out. So I'm going to get going. I just thought I'd share little insights and stuff from the concert and my disillusionment and my excitement and all the stuff that's all wrapped into it. Because someday I'll look back on this and remember when, because I'm probably not going to remember after today much about it other than it was fun and it was a meaningful time with my daughter. So now I have it on video and I can always go back and go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember how I felt. I'll probably go to like 5 more concerts before I look back at this one. But yeah, so now I have it recorded on YouTube, which seems to be everlasting unless they take down your channel. So you guys have a great day and I will talk to you soon. Be blessed, everybody, and shalom.